So it's a 15-year-old teenager who can't be named who is the first person in our country now to be charged with riot. And a surprising decision, apparently, with a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison, as the legal system throws itself with full weight at the people who were rioting after the Southport murders. And South Tyneside Youth Court on Thursday, this boy has pleaded guilty to violent disorder and burglary in Sunderland and now is charged with riot, which carries significantly bigger sentences. And the it's terribly sad that these things took place. It's terribly sad that people are pushed into court. Tom Neblett, somebody else, who presumably was incited by others, who was one of those gathered near a mosque. Joseph Lay, one of the first to instigate physical violence. People thinking they were attending an event to celebrate British culture. Paul Smith, sentenced for violent disorder following unrest outside the Holiday Inn, the same place where Abdullah and people cowering inside had fear for their lives. We have no idea what their personal history may be and what they have suffered before they came here. And yet we subject them to that. And it doesn't matter really what the courts are throwing at the perpetrators and the rioters and these thugs. The courts aren't doing anything to help Abdullah. Gareth Metcalfe, who has had a jail term of 38 months, given also to Tyler Kay. It's Lee Dunn, James Nelson, and then what was it, Julie Sweeney or whatever it was, Julie Sweeney, who this 53-year-old woman who lives a quiet, sheltered life, who wrote on Facebook that she wanted people to blow up the mosque with the adults in it. Outrageous. And yet at the same time, these sentences are lighter than the sentences which have been handed down to the Just Stop Oil people. There seems inconsistency, and there seems a sort of knee-jerk response. The law is never good when it does knee-jerk responses. I mean, I'm not for 1 minute trying to defend these people. I think they are beyond the pale. They've behaved appallingly, and I think the people who have encouraged them to behave like this have behaved appallingly. And I think there's a long history of people ratcheting up the tension and deflecting attention away from the things that really need to change in our society. I don't believe that migration is a problem in our society. Let me put my cards on the table. I believe migrants add to our society rather than detract. But even if I were wrong, there is no excuse for this level of violence and this level of thuggery and mindless stupidity. I've been accused of pontificating, and I'm sorry if I come across occasionally as somebody who's pontificating, but I don't see that it's possible to debate this issue. There isn't a debate. There are some things which are simply right, and there are some things which are simply wrong, and this is wrong. And there isn't any discussion. And I would also go further, and I would say it's not a matter of whether or not X, Y, and Z incited these people to riot. X, Y, and Z, I don't even need to identify them, have such a large base and such an eager following, all they had to do was stand up, use their social media platforms to tell their base to go home, to think about the children who had been killed, to think what they could do, what positively they could do, rather than this negative destruction. There's nothing positive about tearing up waste paper bins, setting them on light, torching police cars. There's nothing constructive, creative, or positive about that. It's just mindless thuggery. And these advocates of violence, sitting in their leafy turrets, who then perhaps later, after all the damage has been done, say, oh, we condemn violence. Well, the time to say that was before it happened.